What a first sectornomics, and Jason Furman in the house in Becky's seat. Jason Furman, and
wow.
Yeah, I know you were Council of Economic Advisor Chairman under President Obama. Now a professor at the Harvard Kennedy School of Government. That's in Cambridge, or
it's in Cambridge.
It is. That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, good.
Sometimes I kid her. I like the B school. It's on the other side of the river, is it not? But Cambridge is a great place, as we have talked many, many times. And we know about Fresh Pond, right? We'll always have Fresh Pond. So we do want to talk, I guess we're setting this interview up talking about Fed independence. I don't think there's anyone that thinks the Fed shouldn't be independent, especially board members. You probably would argue for that, too. But for as long as we've covered business news, we have seen presidents prefer lower interest rates. I mean, going all the way back to Nixon, I think, and then it goes through. You remember how mad the first Bush president was at Greenspan, blamed him for his election loss. I guess my point would be that you don't need pressure for the Fed to stay at zero for too long. We know that. They can do it on their own, can they not? We have seen that a couple of years ago.
Look, I mean, if you think the president should have the right to tweet about interest rates, he can tweet away all he wants. We just don't want a Fed listening to him, right. And we don't want a Fed listening to any. We don't want a Fed listening to any president.
They're fully free to make mistakes on their own, or in the most recent case, maybe orchestrate this beautiful soft landing if it indeed holds.
Yeah, but we also think the Fed in some ways is more important than it is. I mean, look what's happened since September. They've cut the Fed funds rate by 75 basis points. What's happened to the 10-year? What's happened to mortgage rates? They've gone up 75 basis points. So the interest rates that matter, they depend a lot on what you think inflation's going to be, what you think the risk environment's going to be, what you think the fiscal environment's going to be. The Fed actually, in some ways, is accepting reality rather than defining reality.
Should we just assume that a Fed chair, along with all the other people that have voting rights, should we just assume that that's better than a rules-based system? I mean, it does depend on how good the Fed chairman is, and it does depend on whether he can get consensus and how good all the other constituents are. But is that the best? With AI and everything else, is that the best way to do things?
Yeah, I'm not sure I want ChatGPT setting my monetary policy just yet. But Joe, I'm more fond of the Taylor rule than I was 5 years ago. Back then, I thought the sort of wisdom and discretion and all that worked out well. I think they used their discretion to keep rates too low for too long. That contributed to the inflation. I would not replace them with a formula. But I wouldn't mind if every meeting they had to publish, here's what the formula said, and explain why we did something different than the formula. So just give a little bit more weight to the Taylor rule, a little bit less to discretion, because I think some of that discretion has been a mistake.
That's almost acknowledging that maybe you don't want to hurt the independence of the Fed, but maybe there is a better way to do some things.
Yeah, I think rules are a little bit more predictable. By the way, they would have started cutting rates earlier, a year ago, if we had had one of these rules in place. The Taylor rule was saying cut rates. They waited a while, so it goes different directions. I think a little bit more rule, a little bit less discretion would be a good way to do it. I don't think any president should be involved in this. And by the way, I don't think Donald Trump will want to be. When he sees the stock market reaction, if he tries to fire Jay Powell or something like that, it would be ugly and stop him from doing it.
Can I ask a separate question? I mean, this goes to some of the stuff that Judy was talking about. Even if he wasn't actively involved, do you think there should be certain restrictions on the Federal Reserve that he could implement or that he should be influencing in terms of, buying back certain government bonds and the like, and just sort of levels?
I mean, look, his Treasury Secretary can do whatever he wants with the maturity structure of the debt and can, by the way, if they want to undo what the Fed does, they can do that as well. But no, I mean, this thing's worked pretty well. We broadly have had low inflation. We just had a bad episode, and that was partly the Fed's fault. But they corrected their error really, really quickly, really decisively. We've had more stability.
The Fed gave us that, right?
This is like the one institution in our country that is basically functional. The idea that you'd inject more Congress into it, more president into it, no, those are totally dysfunctional institutions.
What happened with Jay Powell? What got into his water recently to say that? Yes, because the last jobs report doesn't indicate that the economy has strengthened since the election. Do you think he's looking at some of the proposed Trump policies to say, I want to keep some... I'm going to be hesitant to lower rates if there's tariffs, if inflation is coming, if we're going to spend, if we're going to cut taxes all across the board.
I mean, the market is looking at those policies and has priced in higher inflation expectations. Right, 450, and half of that's because of higher expected inflation. Half of that's because of a higher real rate, which is what you'd get from larger budget deficits, which I think we'll have. But inflation's also been stubborn. We've had a couple bad prints in a row. At the same time, real GDP is 3%. I think we're going to see a 10-year core PCE of something like 2.8%. Next print, the one after that. And that'll be a real wake-up call that we are stuck above 2.5.
That's 40% higher than the target, unless you move the goalposts, which they swear they will never do. And I think they already have been moved.
Yeah, I mean, I've argued for moving the goalposts. I'm less sure about it now. There's a lot of benefits to the anchored expectations that they've done. I think the neutral rate is a lot higher than I thought it was. One of the arguments for lowering the target was if you thought the neutral rate was quite low. And, they're sticking with the 2%. And if they're going to stick with it, they should stick with it. Now, I don't mind if it's 2% instead of 2.0%. What does that mean? It rounds to 2. That's fine with me. But, 2.7, 2.8, they don't round to 2.
I realize now that pod that you look thinner, younger, more in studio with this lighting than with that pod.
I'll just come here anytime to hear that from you, Joe.
Did you?
What is the pod that you're referring to? You mean when he
has this amazing memory.
You remember when
in Zoom when he would be in his attic? Is that what you're referring to?
No, it wasn't an attic. It looked like you had a pod.
I had been kidnapped. It was in Connecticut.
It looked like a hostage statement, really.
Yeah.
What room? Where was it?
I was in Connecticut. Just a beautiful view of the ocean, but you didn't get to see it.
Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for coming in. And Joe, I am rooting for you for Treasury Secretary.
Hey, you know what? I've said
You're
that.
the person.
It's not that ridiculous.
No, it's much better than some of these other picks.
It's much better than some of those other.
Wow.
Just think can I call you if I need to make any decisions?
I'll be your validator. Yeah, you've always been nice to me.
No, can I call you if I am Treasury?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'll tell you what to do.
He's going to need advice.
I'm not really sure
He's going to need advice.
Or you can follow my Twitter feed. I'll have advice for you there.
But he looks like he looks good on TV.
Yeah.
I do.
Joe Kernan, so he could...
You are perfect.
Think about just standing there on the lawn, on the White House lawn.
Yeah.
Doing those interviews.
But I'm not sure I'm qualified. But then I look back at some previous Treasury secretaries. Is that aluminum guy qualified? Remember that dude?
I'm not going to speak ill of the past.
I mean, I might be all right.
The present, though.
Oh, my goodness gracious.